Hey, Jessica, thank you for joining us. How you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for joining us on the network on such a big week for you. How are you doing? How are you enjoying Chicago?
I love Chicago. It's the Midwest. I've been here quite a few times. I used to work with a candy company, the Chico Sticks, that would do a candy convention at the McCormick Center, and I've been coming out here since early 2000s.
That's awesome. Well, Midwest, stand up for one of your own this Saturday at the United Center for UFC 238. And speaking of this Saturday, being from the Midwest, how dope is it that you have the chance to win the title at the home that Michael Jordan built?
It's pretty fucking dope. It's pretty awesome. Sorry for my pretty awesome. These are what dreams are made of. These are moments that I need to soak in, because one day they won't exist, no matter how, stressful at times things can get, or, as scary as they can get. This is once in a lifetime, and I better soak it up and enjoy it.
Jessica, you've been grinding and have given it all to climb to the mountain. And with all that in mind, how does it change now that we are here? It's title fight in Chicago against a great like Valentina. How does it change from when we were grinding to get to the top of the mountain to now being here?
I don't think anything changes. I think that's where people are, screwing things up, or maybe I had even screwed things up previously. Like, nothing changes. Who cares? You know what I mean? So what, we get two extra 5-minute rounds to beat up on somebody. I mean, this is what we're trained to do. I've done 8 rounds before straight in the gym. What makes this different?
Right.
Well, how important was it to learn that? To learn your body, your mind, to find what works for you and not necessarily what others think would or should work for you?
It was sometime shortly after my father passed away, and in that time, before I had returned to 125, was in that time zone. I'd faced some health issues, and then just, I went and actually at that time seen a sports psychologist and realized actually that it wasn't a sports psychology thing that I need. It was an inner look into myself and how I viewed things and how I was handling things, and not letting anger fuel me, but intelligence and strong emotion. So it was within that time that, and then, 3 canceled fights when I was supposed to fight in that time. I was just like chomping at the bit.
So how does someone like you, who is so competitive and so intelligent, able to focus that energy? I mean, was that a lot of the motivation that's led us to this moment right now? I mean, because regardless of the outcome, you've already won in most of our eyes already. You've already climbed the mountaintop.
Yeah, look, I think about the best case scenario. I think about the worst case scenario, and if for whatever reason God's plan is not to have me get this title and I go home Sunday without it, I mean, I'm just going to enjoy I like who I am now. Before I would hide after fight week and hide from people. I'm not that person anymore. I don't care that same, I'm not like that, and I just know what's going to happen, and I'm happy with who I am. I'm happy with the things I've done, and that I'm so sure of myself. Listen, I will have to die in that cage. I will have to physically die to not walk away with it. I know she's a tough opponent. I know she kicks hard. I know she hits hard. I know what I'm up against. You know what I mean? Like I know what I'm facing. So it's not. There's no surprises. You know what I mean? She's gonna try to kick me. She's gonna try to hurt me. I get it. I get it all.
Thank you for keeping it with us here on Mercado Airwaves. We are honored to be talking with Jessica I. Now, Jessica, I know some people might get tired of hearing it, but I think it is important to point out that you two ladies are one of the highlights in a card that is literally filled with future Hall of Famers in the UFC. How cool is it to be part of this wave of real-life Wonder Women who are doing all this awesome work and now are being truly highlighted and praised for the awesome athletic work they're doing in hell, even outside of the sports world?
I mean, I love it. It's a good time to be a female these days. Everybody's loving us, treating us really good, and supporting us. So, I mean, it's a good time to be a woman in this sport.
How did your father take it when you first started fighting?
my dad was scared in those early years, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Even though, see, I think that was one of the things that maybe people didn't understand when I said that. Like, my dad was a controlling person, so when I chose fighting, it almost made him feel like he didn't have control, and it scared him more, right? Like, him doing something to me, he knew when, too much was too much, and he understood that part of it. So I feel like, my family and even the earlier, like my uncles and stuff like that, like it was nerve-wracking for them. It wasn't under controlled hands that they felt like. So, my friends who are my family, we call them my friend family, my family, they love it. I'm so thankful for them.
Jessica, you have been an absolute pleasure to talk with. Chicago, root Evil Eye on as she takes on Valentina Shevchenko for the UFC Women's Flyweight Championship this Saturday at UFC 238 from the United Center here in the greatest city in the world, Chicago, Illinois. You can get it on ESPN Plus, the pay-per-view provider now of the UFC. Jessica, any final words for your people here in Chicago?
Let's go, baby. Time to get bloody in the Midwest.
You know what? Before we let you go, Jessica, let's have some fun. After you win the gold, what's the first meal you have with the championship?
Some really disgusting airport food.
Oh, God.
Well, I mean, I'm here till 12, so I'm probably going to eat pizza for breakfast on Sunday. So.
There you go. There's the answer.
Pizza
all right.
For breakfast on Sunday. Pizza for breakfast, probably some Tito's on the airplane back. And then there's this, like, cupcake place or shake place in Las Vegas I've been waiting to hit up. So
there we go. All right, so make sure you take a bunch of pictures. Yeah, take a bunch of pictures with all that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jessica Evil Eye.
You can find me on all social media at jessicaevileye.com. And, I had some really great people come together, for me. One being Grapplers, Inc. They did a really cool Jessica Eye rash guard and stuff that I'll be releasing that I can't wait to see. BSN, they really, really hooked up the team with protein shakes and bars and stuff like that. But then I got Slim Soak, who's been Epsom salt, who I've been like, they couldn't have came at a better time because my muscles have been so sore, so I've been using them like crazy. And then Natural Relief Dispensary, they're actually out of Albuquerque. And, cool thing about that was like, the young boy it was a father's business, but his son basically went out and was like, hey, you got to check out this Jessica Eye. She's a huge fan of CBD. She's a medical patient. Like, let's help her out. This would mean everything to her. And they came in super strong, just taking care of me. So I'm so thankful for them.
Jessica, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks.
You got it.